Wow.
Look at that light.
Yeah, that's pretty bright.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
Right? So that
Possibly more clarity than I'm looking for, but that's fine.
Come on and visit for any occasion. So keep patting down waiting, comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
So last week, Dal,
Patrick.
specifically last Friday, we had I say we, and it was a we, but it wasn't you and I, we.
Right.
The store we had the question, what if you didn't have any power? Could you still run the store? Answered.
Yes.
And the answer was yes, not at, pun intended, full power.
Right. And not for an indefinite duration.
Yes. For a certain amount of time. Longer, like we could have gone longer than we needed to, but we found out that with no electricity in the building, we could still operate the store for a certain amount of time. Mm-hmm. And that is not a question we ever vocalized. I don't recall you posing at any point.
It was not on our checklist of things that we needed to safeguard against, no.
Yeah, you basically didn't say, hey, Friday, while you're there, can you see what it's like to work with no power?
Yep.
Among other questions we never thought to answer were, can you run the store without the internet?
Mm-hmm.
Now, plenty of times in the store's past, internet goes down for something, right?
Sure.
Now, more than ever, our, as I called it today, modern comic store, modern technologically facing store.
Okay.
Because it uses a lot of current technology.
True.
It doesn't have a register, it has an iPad.
Yes.
Everything is Bluetooth. Everything is Wi-Fi.
Yep.
So if the Wi-Fi goes down, if the internet itself goes down, can you run the store? Mm-hmm. The answer is yes, you can.
Great.
The next question is, for how long?
For how long, Patrick?
The entire day.
That sucks.
The internet is still down.
That sucks.
It was down when I got there, down when I left.
Fantastic.
So, backing up a little bit, we have always had a problem with our very stupid street address. Going back to the days we opened, we've talked about this before, but as a refresher, the official store address is 1845 Northwestern Avenue, Suite 2R.
Right, which is what we were assigned by the building's construction. Like the
initial owner.
Yeah, well, not even the owner, but like the company that was building it was like, this is what you're called. And it's like, okay, great. So we put that on all of our paperwork and all of our applications and everything else. That's the official address.
So that is what was turned into the post office. Mm-hmm. That is how, apparently, addresses are born.
I guess.
So once it goes to the post office, that's what it is. It doesn't matter that at the point of construction, there were 2 retail spots in that building where there are now 3. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter that they only ever meant for 2. It doesn't matter that you could have broken it down into 6 if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. What matters is that there should be a 2R on our address. Dal, what does 2R stand for?
To rear, I think. Like the rear of the building.
Right. And what does rear of the building mean, normally?
Normally it means not street facing.
So, our building is what shape?
Triangular.
What's the rear?
I mean, weirdly, the one side of the building that doesn't have an official entrance, that's just garages, but that's not where we're located at.
Correct. You technically can't get in there.
Yes.
There are 3 floors of condos or apartments above us. Those are, the address for those, man, you are wiped out today.
Right, it's true.
The address for those is 1870 Winnebago. Mm-hmm. We, on the other side of that triangle, are 1845 Northwestern. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the apartment people have adopted the 1845 Northwestern address, which is A, erroneous, and B, terribly confusing.
Yep.
Because when you say 2R, people think it's second floor.
Right.
And they think condo or apartment.
Right.
They think if it's on the ground floor, R is the back of the building.
Mm-hmm.
So for years we've had that issue, but for another example of that is people frequently take our gas account.
Yeah. They use our meter.
They constantly say, "Oh no, we've moved in. That's our meter." So our gas gets turned off, and they get theirs turned on, and suddenly we have no gas.
Yeah.
And it's look, we've been in
We
here.
randomly find out months later when our heat doesn't turn on, like, what's going on? Oh, you don't have a gas account anymore.
And it's just a phone call to get it back, but
we've had to make it multiple times.
my constant, why does this keep happening? And the insistence that they're putting a note in, this is a business, do not assign this to a residence, it goes unheard.
Nope.
So a while ago, we currently have AT&T for our internet provider. That is not the internet provider that we started with, but I mean, we've been in business for a while, things change. And we switched over to AT&T for a better deal.
Yep.
And now we keep getting varying accounts as to availability of fiber optics available in our building.
Yeah, they try and upsell us on it, and eventually we were like, okay, sure, we'll do that.
Because it's already in the building.
Right.
Side note, Mike Love has fiber in his building, and he said it is so great that we'll love it. It'll be worth everything.
That's great.
And also, they will try to upsell us to fiber business, which we don't need.
No, I mean, even fiber was a thing where, because it was a good deal, I was like, yeah, I think we should do that. But prior to that, it was like, I don't know. Like, our internet's fine. It's fine. When it's up, it's fine.
Yeah, but we weren't going to have to pay for the building to be converted. It was already converted.
Right.
So a few months ago, a technician comes out to get it from the phone room to our store, and he can't because of the address. For whatever reason, the address doesn't correspond. They know that there's 1845 Northwestern, and they know there's 1845 Northwestern 2R, and...
Because we have service with AT&T, so they must be aware of it in some capacity.
But, and I forget which is which, but one iteration has fiber in the phone room, the other iteration has it on a pole in the alley. They'd have to run it over. And oddly enough, there's also a fiber junction box in the phone room that goes nowhere, but there's cords in it, but they can't trace it. No one in the building has fiber, but there's fiber in the building.
Great.
So anyway, they were sending someone out apparently yesterday to fix that. And they keep messaging me. They don't call the store, they call me. They email me. But fine, that counts. But they don't ever give you a specific time. Long story short, I alerted Molly Jane that somebody was on their way to the building, and this was in the middle of the afternoon. Later in the evening, Molly Jane texted me to say, AT&T never showed up.
Great.
Fine, whatever.
Sure.
So I get into the store today. There's no internet. And I immediately think they got in last night and fucked something up.
Sure. That wouldn't be the first time.
So I call AT&T because we have no internet.
Right.
So I call AT&T and it's all automated. And they do that thing where they do that whatever noise when they put you on hold as they look up your account.
Like it's the fake typing noise to be like, oh, this isn't just some computer that's running through an algorithm. This is an actual person who's typing up relevant details to pass along to a customer service rep. Whatever.
Then we go backwards in time. And then they say, oh, there's an outage in your area. Like, that's not what I'm asking. I have a service problem. And they looked and said, this outage will be fixed in 4 to 24 hours. And it hangs up. And I call back because I'm not satisfied with that.
No.
And I need to get to a human being, which they make it very hard to do. I do. I got to a very nice person whose name I thought was Perry, but it turned out to be Terry.
Sure.
And Terry does the whole...
Was it Jerry or Gary?
Jerry Dugan. Jerry Dugan is our AT&T rep. So Jerry Dugan puts me on hold and comes back and says, yeah, there's an outage in your area. And I'm like, hey, man, that's not why I'm calling. I'm calling because there was supposed to have been service at this building yesterday. Can you tell me what they did, if they showed up, or what happened? And he comes back with the fact that they tried to come to the building, but they got confused by the 2R.
Great.
And could never find it. Great. So no one showed up. Nothing was done.
Great.
So
isn't there a business name? Couldn't they have checked the business name, or isn't there like a contact number?
Apparently, it says they called the store and talked to someone. But it didn't say who they talked to.
Because when AT&T calls the store is naturally going to pretend they don't know what they're talking about and dissuade them from ever coming to the store, because that's
well. Also,
that's
we know that they never call the store; they always call me.
Right.
much to my chagrin.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, it just goes to show me that whatever the problem is, it's not caused on site. It's not our problem.
Right.
It is an outage.
Right.
So Terry digs into it. He goes, I think that it looks like there's a cut wire. The people I've been talking to are already there. Like, I'll call you back in a few minutes when I know what's going on. Fine. He calls me back like a half hour later, just to say, I can't find out what's going on. That's when I messaged you, because he said, it is officially an outage.
Great.
And the hilarious thing is, if you go to, when you're on the phone with AT&T, they're like, if you want to find more about your outage, just go to AT&T.com/ I'm like, you fuckers, I cannot go anywhere.
Yeah.
There's no internet.
The internet's down. That's why I'm calling you in the first place.
Anyway, I'm on my phone, and it's just AT&T.com/outage.
Okay.
You type in your zip code.
Right.
And it pulls up a map with a little triangle on it that shows you where the outage is.
Uh-huh.
In that triangle, like if it's like this,
Right.
pointing up,
Uh-huh.
this triangle points to our building, which is right up here.
Oh, okay.
But we're not actually in the triangle service.
Weird.
But it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Terry's like, look, it's affecting like everybody who has AT&T in the neighborhood,
Uh-huh.
whatever, blah blah blah.
Okay.
So fine, it's an outage, but Jesus Christ, it's still an outage.
Yeah, that's not great.
The only way we were able to survive was by having everything online, because we could switch the iPad to 5G rather than Wi-Fi, which was Dal telling me to do that. There's one sale we got to find out if it went through, because there was an offline mode or something.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we had to run every transaction off of the Square on my phone,
Yeah.
which every time you plug the dongle in, the music cuts out.
Yeah.
So that's super annoying. Also, every time you plug the dongle in, it takes like 15 seconds for it to register.
I'm sure they're not charged, but do we not have any of the Bluetooth, the tap squares? There's like a Bluetooth card reader NFC thing for Square.
There's we
I assume they're just not
have a
charged.
habit of losing Square things
Okay.
all the time.
Okay.
I would not know where to look for them anymore.
Okay. I'll
They're
look around for them on Sunday.
with the second terminal.
Probably.
Yeah.
I thought I saw one fairly recently, but I'll dig around.
It
for
did cause a couple of people to be like, "Hey man, you can't. I'm sorry, you can't use Apple Pay today."
Right.
Oh, I'm like, I'm real sorry.
Yeah.
Believe me. Also, first thing, like as I'm turning lights off, who's the first person at the door? UPS.
Hey.
Cart full of things.
Hey.
Paying Random House. 3 boxes in envelope. Simon Schuster. 2 boxes.
Wow.
Diamond. No, not Diamond. Ingram. Anyway, the usual stacks of stuff.
Nice.
So it's like, all right, we can at least check these in by hand,
Yeah.
right? So, the very large Penguin box, no invoice,
Great.
no packing slip.
Does the exterior label, did it have like a purchase order? Because they usually do. It'll say either the purchase order number that we gave it or multiple POs if it's from a bunch of stuff.
One of the Simon & Schuster boxes was hilarious. It was 2 pages of product.
Okay.
Every single piece was a different PO.
Yeah, that's been happening a lot.
Every
recently.
single one.
Because Simon & Schuster's all of our Viz back orders.
Yeah.
And Viz has been filling a lot of back orders over the last couple of months. So we're having stuff where
Did
it's
you
like,
notice?
this was from a year ago, and they're finally shipping it out to us.
Our manga shelves are getting tight.
They're getting pretty full.
And we've ordered so much new manga coming up.
We have. Well, I mean, the good news is we always have the option of adding an additional shelf to all of those bookshelves.
I was going to bring that up, but we didn't get to that point in the conversation.
Yeah,
But
I'm not saying we would do it tomorrow, but, like, it's a possibility. Could definitely work towards it. It would mean rearranging some stuff because we'd taken the stuff that couldn't fit on the 6-shelf version of the bookshelf.
Right.
But could fit on the 5-shelf version of the bookshelf and filtered those in. So we'd have to filter those back out and then put those on the bottom.
Put those in the bottom.
That's what I mean. Like, they wouldn't leave entirely.
Oh,
but
okay. You say filter out of alphabetical, but still be on the shelf.
They'd have to go on, like, a bottom final shelf that we gave a little bit more space.
Sure.
The Akiras and the whatnot.
So it was, part of me was like, well, I can just wait till the internet comes back on, because unlike you, I don't have an iPad to use in conjunction with the other iPad.
Yeah. But, I mean, you could use the regular iPad.
Yeah, I could, but there's people to ring up.
Sure, but, between those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said I could have.
Okay.
I've had a rough day, Dal.
I know.
And I'm trying very hard not to snap at you.
I appreciate that.
I really wanted to right now, but I didn't.
Okay, thanks.
Because all these things already happened.
Right.
So, telling me what I could have done during the day.
I guess, sure, okay.
It all got taken care of.
Great.
I used my phone.
Okay.
Not only to check things in, but to put in new product. Because the Ingram order came in, so there's some stuff that we've never had before.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't know how to do is when entering a new item on the phone, I can't find our categories to assign it to.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's certain things that you can't do through the Shopify admin app on a phone. They just don't exist. Like, there's things that I have to go into the webpage version of Shopify admin.
Yeah.
And they just do it that way. Like, yeah, there's certain variables and stuff that you can't, that are not readily accessible. You have to go into it on Chrome, which is why usually on the iPad on the store, I will more frequently go into Shopify admin on Chrome than I will on the iPad Shopify admin app.
Right.
Because it's more robust and it looks better and things are where you expect them to be if you're used to using Shopify admin on the left computer instead of on the iPad.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I kept driving me crazy because I'm sure there had to be a way to do it.
No, I think custom product types I don't think you can do on the Shopify admin app. I think you have to go into the Shopify admin webpage to do it.
Fortunately for us, no web orders came in today.
Great.
Because I would not have known how to print the label.
Yeah.
From my phone to the...
I mean, I probably just would have done it as just a regular PDF to the printer.
Yeah.
And then just cut it out and tape it down. Because since we had power, the printer is on the Wi-Fi. Like the regular inkjet printer is on the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And your phone will just find it. The iPad will find it. As long as the printer's on, they'll be able to find it. And there's been times where you've been working on something and I needed to print something out. I would have normally used the label maker, but I was just like, I'll just print it out on the inkjet printer and then cut it out and tape it down.
Not a fun day.
It sounds like it. I'm sorry to hear it.
So I'd like you to grab your phone right now.
Okay.
I warned you about this. I warned you this is coming up.
Kept it nearby.
And I would like you to go into the green Shopify Manager, not Shopify Register.
I usually call it Shopify Admin, but that's cool.
What would you call the red one? Or the red Shopify one?
Red one?
The Danger one. The one that's on fire.
Oh.
Shopify Danger?
Yeah, Shopify Extreme.
Okay.
That's usually what it means.
If you can go to Manager, and let's say you were receiving an Ingram order.
Okay.
So that you just do product by product, right?
No. If it had a stocky PO, it would be in stocky.
Ingram has stocky?
Yep.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. I mean, we can always find out what order it was and just delete it.
Who doesn't have stocky?
Lunar.
Hachette?
Hachette's in stocky.
Man, for the life of me,
So here's the thing. Anything with a purchase order that has the suffix stocky is in stocky,
No,
and I make sure I put them all there.
Wasn't there a point where Ingram wasn't part of stocky?
Previously Ingram and Ingram was the only one that was not in Comic Suite because of how quickly Ingram orders turned around. It wasn't really useful.
Okay.
But with us back ordering more stuff in Ingram now, Ingram is tracked through stocky.
Okay. Well, I did all those just item by changing quantities.
Okay. Well, all we would need to do then is just go into stocky at some point and then just delete those POs. So it doesn't expect us to have those coming in. And the good news is I can easily find Ingram emails, shipping emails, and you'll just have to go, it was that one.
But the bad news is all the extra effort this fucking day has required.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, my point was going to be, as I was looking for products on my phone...
Yes.
The order in which they come up on the phone is stupid.
Probably.
The first book I needed to add in was Twins.
Okay.
So, just type in Twins.
Doing it.
And hit search.
Yep.
What's your top book?
Warm Blood, and then Chew, and then Uncanny Avengers. Yeah, I don't understand.
Scroll down. Twins is there.
I'm sure. I'm just like, it is strange to me that this is so unhelpful. Like, you can't filter it. You can't filter your search.
You can't filter the search.
Because it's weird. Because if you would go into like other stuff, like on the home screen, no products. I'll just do cancel. If I wanted to view recently updated products. I thought there was a way to do it. Inventory? Yeah, if you go to the inventory page,
Yeah.
You can filter this way, but you're just yeah. So like, is this to change quantities? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, that's all.
So go to the inventory tab and type in twins. Well, I did search. And then I'm going to do product type, graphic novel. I do tagged with, and then...
Holy shit.
It's a sidekicks book.
How many steps are there?
I mean, I would... Obviously, this is if you had to do it this way, and I wouldn't, opt to do it this way.
Sure. Well, I thought that's the way we had to do it.
Anyway, so... also, sidekicks isn't even coming up in here.
There were several books that were...
Oh, Jesus, because it's... The filters, it won't populate all of them. It'll populate...
As much fit on a screen.
100 of them or whatever, and you can't do the rest.
Oh.
So our tags, because of how terrible the Shopify admin app is, stop at artist-Elena Casagrande. So, yeah, you can't filter by any genre tag, because genre tags are all letters other than A. But anyway, so I did... I filtered it by that, and and then I'm going to, on the left there's a sort. I'm going to sort by product variant A to Z, and then it'll be alphabetical, but I can
product
also
variant?
do Z. Product variant is what the thing is called.
Okay.
So I did it by Z to A, twins.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I grant you that twins is a generic enough of a term that it could be confusing, but there were titles that were very specific and not tied to anything else that were still buried in the list.
Yeah, it's frustrating because you would expect the logic behind the search to be things like, well, what is the product called, or what is the product variant called? Like, I'm searching for it because that's what it's named. But then you'll get, like, again, Warm Blood was the first one that came up for you, and Jesus.
Can I be honest? I 100% expected twins to be at the top of your list.
Oh, no.
I fully expected there to be some secret...
No.
Some obvious thing that I was overlooking.
Yeah, I mean, again, I can't stress this enough. I would not... Oh, here, actually. Yeah, going back to... So, what was I on? It was weird because we were searching products before, and we did twins, and it didn't give us any options to search anything. But now I'm in here, and all of those... Like, here's the sorting field, here's the filter tab. I don't know why those weren't there before. That seems really weird. Anyway, yeah, I would generally just use... the website login, which I think you can do on your phone. I don't know how it's going to look, but let's try it and find out.
When you say the website login, you mean
just going to Chrome,
yeah,
and just doing it that way, because the interface is very similar to what you'll have on the iPad or on the computer.
Okay.
So the things that you're seeing here
Okay.
are the screens are a lot more natural,
or at least what we're used to.
Yeah. Anyway.
A side question to that would be, how do we find out what a book is genre tagged in for our store? Because I don't know that we've ever... Like, when I'm adding new books in, I don't know how to genre tag them. I knew how to do it in Comic Suite, but I don't know how to do it here.
Okay, so let's just... I'm on a screen already, so let's just pick a graphic novel. 20th Century Boys, Volume 10.
Yes. I know that's manga.
Well, I'm going to show you real quick where it is. It's in the tag section here.
Okay.
So tags, one of the tags is manga.
So should I be...
So if you wanted to then tag... Like, if you were putting something new in the system and you wanted to give it a genre code so we know where it racks and we know where it populates on the website, you would just hit the Manage button for tags and then type in the genre or tag you wanted to add it to. Like, let's say we wanted to add crime mystery.
I did want to add crime mystery to...
So I type in crime there, and one of the available ones is crime mystery, so I just hit that
okay.
little...
I did want to add crime mystery to secret identity.
Okay.
I didn't, though.
Okay.
Also, what's Day Tripper?
Day Tripper, I think, is in the drama section.
Okay, that's where I put it.
I can look it up if you want me
That's
to.
where I filed it, but I wasn't sure, because I also would have thought that She Could Fly was drama, but that's sci-fi.
It's sci-fi now, yeah. I think we originally had it as drama, but then Dark Horse was categorizing it as sci-fi, so we went, all right, sure. I will frequently defer to the publisher.
Yeah, as you should.
Well, but there's times where I don't. Like, All Nighter specifically talks about superheroes and superhero fiction on the back of the book.
Yeah.
But they categorize it as horror.
It's a horror book.
But I flipped through it and I'm like, this seems like a superhero thing. I don't know.
But I read it. It's a horror book.
All right. It doesn't seem like it'd be very successful as a horror book.
Well, I mean, it's not horror as you would think of horror.
Like supernatural.
But it's horror as in...
Day Tripper's in the drama section.
Okay. Without giving anything away from all-nighter. Let's say, what if
What if it's a superhero book?
The Mummy
Okay.
was a superhero? And I don't mean the living mummy from Marvel. I mean, like, Boris Karloff. Was he the Mummy? Universal monsters.
Sure.
What if they were superheroes?
I think that would make it a superhero book.
Okay.
It feels like more of a superhero book. Or we can always move it. I
Yeah,
have it in
fine,
superheroes now, but we
fine.
can move it to horror.
I mean, the cover makes it look like a superhero book, and
Yep.
it's not. Well, that's just it.
and the description on the back of the
It's
book.
elements of everything. So yeah,
Okay.
I would explain further, but I feel like that would be giving away parts of the story,
Probably.
which you don't care about.
I definitely do not.
But the our listeners
Okay.
probably care about. You know what I think the listeners do care about?
What's that, Patrick?
The fact that we have a pretty good-looking store.
Yeah, you mention it once a week.
Yeah, I didn't do it this week, though.
No.
I didn't think we deserved it.
Wow.
But it's not just that the store looks good, Dal. I think that a lot of it is that you and I look good. We're dressed well.
It's true.
We're well-groomed.
We are.
People see us wearing, shirts, slacks, ties, vests, sometimes jackets.
Yep.
But for as good as we look on the outside, we're also immaculately groomed underneath.
I wouldn't say the inside, but yeah, underneath.
That's
is maybe
why I
a good
said
way of
underneath.
saying it.
So a couple of weeks ago, we were approached by a sponsor for this podcast, which is new to us because we don't often get sponsors. We have in the past, but this is a sponsor that coincidentally we already use their products.
Yeah.
And they didn't know that when they reached out. And the they in this case are Manscaped, the personal grooming people.
Yes. Company.
They are sponsoring this very podcast,
They are.
which is wonderful because at the point of them reaching out, I had a lawnmower 2.0. Dal had the 3.0.
I did. It was a gift.
So I've been using mine for years, and I've been raving about it for years. And there are people who will listen to this podcast who can say, "Oh yeah, you told me I should get one of those." And it's not just you,
Okay.
because I love the way that they groom and how they are an amazing way to trim hair anywhere on yourself
It's true.
without a great risk of cutting yourself.
Yeah, I mean, there's a sense of safety in it that I really appreciate, and just the ease of use is something that I personally find like a lot of people. I'm lazy. I'm a lazy person.
Sure.
So the easier you can make a lot of the regular tasks of being a human being, the more likely I am to do them.
So just to be clear, support for Contest of Challengers is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. Ready for this?
I am.
20% off
Whoa.
and free worldwide shipping with the code CHALLENGERS.
Challengers with an S.
Yep.
Wow.
At
code.
manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 8 billion balls.
Wow.
So for sure, I was
You
just
have
I
done
was,
the math.
I was just reading that, of course.
Patrick was
But,
reading copy.
We really like what this company offers, and
Yeah.
they really because it's two men hosting this podcast, they're really hitting all the male talking points. But I want to point out that this is for everybody,
Oh, okay.
and while they market this as a way to trim below the waist, I use this on my face. I trim my beard with this.
Oh, okay. I have
Yeah.
not used it on my face, but I've used it above the waist and below the neck.
There you go. I've used it everywhere. And they sent Dal and I each a Performance Package 4.0, and it contained a lawnmower 4.0, which is more ergonomically designed for your hand.
I haven't opened it
Okay.
yet, so
I have.
that one I can't speak to.
It also has a light on it,
Okay.
so as you are using it,
Uh-huh.
it lights up. Here, listen to this.
Oh, golly, there it is. Wow.
Look at that light,
Yeah, that's pretty bright.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
right? So that is
Possibly more clarity than I'm looking for, but that's fine.
sure. Look, let's see how the
Better
it's
too
all
much
sculpted.
than too little.
For sure. And we each got
The weed whacker?
Well, I was going to get to that later.
Okay.
Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant,
Okay.
which I already owned. Crop Reviver Toner, which I already owned.
Okay. Wow.
These are
Patrick's a
it's
believer.
basically I love
When's Huel
what they
going to
do.
sponsor this podcast?
Yeah. And then, as Dal mentioned, we each got a weed whacker, which if this is what it sounds like.
I used it today.
I thought you said you didn't open the package.
I didn't open the larger part of the package. That was packaged separately.
Yes.
And I used it today, and I really liked it. It's honest to God, and Patrick was reading copy, but let me be honest here. It's the best ear and nose hair trimmer I've ever used.
I have a different ear and nose hair trimmer that I don't even use the way it was intended. Like, I don't use the attachments.
Okay.
I just go straight blade.
Sure.
But the weed whacker, I used the way it's meant to be.
Yeah, dead simple.
I like it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, these things are great. You can buy them separately. You can buy them in the performance package. With the package, you also get, along with the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and the Crop Reviver Toner, you get premium boxer briefs and a travel bag, which is good for travel, which, for all of your toiletries as you travel.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I went from a 2.0 to a 4.0, and the 4.0 is like the future of grooming. It's the easiest to use trimmer. It's got this cutting edge ceramic blade, so it reduces accidents. Like, you can still cut yourself, but you gotta try really hard to cut yourself on it.
Which I also would not do.
Yeah, I don't recommend that.
There's
for
not
sure.
really a good use to cutting yourself.
But it's all part of their advanced skin-safe technology, which is trademarked. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and has that 400K LED spotlight to give you that more precise shave. And also, because it's waterproof, you can use it in the shower, but also you still want to, do something with the discarded hair. You don't just want to,
Let it clog up your drain?
Yeah,
really?
exactly.
No?
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Also, the Weed Whacker is waterproof and has a proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps reduce all of those nicks and snags and tugs and those
Don't like those.
delicate nose holes. Yeah, I don't. I'm not someone who needs to worry about excessive hair in other places than my beard, as far as my face goes. But the Weed Whacker was easy to use and had immediate results. But honestly, like, having the ball deodorant and the ball toner, I feel they're a very liberal company, and they want us to be as graphic as possible.
They really do.
We don't want to be.
Yeah, they had certain guidances as far as like how we should present this, and there were things where I'm like, I like this product, I use this product, I don't want to talk this way about this product.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to do that.
That's fine. So anyway, 20% off and free shipping with the code CHALLENGERS, CHALLENGERS, at manscaped.com.
The S is for savings.
That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. It's ED, so it's past tense. Use the code CHALLENGERS, unlock your confidence, and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. And don't forget, it is not just for men.
And keep grooming balls.
You will hear us talk about Manscaped for the next couple of weeks because they're sponsors.
Probably not in as much detail.
Yeah, well,
this is the first one.
My
so
hope,
let's really get into
my
this.
hope is to take this one and to edit it into something a little more palatable.
Sure.
Or it may just be organic each time. I don't know.
Maybe. I like the idea of having a set version so we can trim it down. Trimming is, as you might know,
for
super
sure.
important.
Yeah.
Trimming it down to something that is not as...
Bushy?
I was going to say... I don't know what I was going to say. Bushy, sure. Something.
See, I said Bushy because that's your last name.
It's true.
Dal Bushy.
Something that isn't as unsightly in the episode as like a multi-minute thing of us just talking about Manscaped talking points.
The big takeaway is that we were already using these things. And then they came to us and said, can we sponsor your podcast? And we said, yeah, we love it.
We're like Dolly Parton in that way, where if it's something that we like, sure, we'll sponsor it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll advertise for it. But it's got to be something that we actually believe in.
Well, I guess my question is, would you accept a sponsor for something that you don't believe in, or I guess don't use. That's different.
I wouldn't accept a sponsorship for something I don't believe in, but I would be hesitant to take a sponsorship.
Believe in as in, like, you think it exists, but you don't like their company philosophy, or...
I would actually be more inclined to take a sponsorship for something that was purely fictional.
Okay.
Because how would you gauge the metrics on that? The success or the failure of it?
What is that new web comic, that new Substack... Zestworld? Like Zestworld? Is that, would you like
I don't know what that is. What is Zestworld?
Zestworld it's Substack, but for like Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, no?
No.
Really?
I wasn't really paying attention.
Oh.
I barely care about Substack.
Sure,
so
it's the Substack.
A different Substack.
I say this with all respect intended, for lesser than A-list creators.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's called Zestworld, which I think makes you think of soap.
Zest
it shouldn't, though,
sure.
because Zest is not soap, it's Zest.
Yeah, I mean, Zestworld makes me think that Zest has gotten into the metaverse game.
Maybe.
And they're creating their own world for people to interact with Zest as a brand. No, if it was something that I knew about but didn't believe in, like it was a product I didn't like or I didn't appreciate.
Okay, but let's say like
I would say no. But if someone came to me for something that I don't know about and they're like, would you consider like this as a sponsor?
Well, what about a thing you outright didn't use, like a lawn mowing company? I shouldn't say that. That's too... I think I only said it because lawn mower is in my head. But let's say a...
like an auto parts company. I don't have a car.
Yeah.
So if an auto parts company, if AutoZone was like, we want to sponsor the podcast, it'd be like, I don't know anything about that, so I'm going to be real upfront with people that like, hey, they're sponsoring a podcast. I don't know anything about auto parts.
Yeah,
like,
but
maybe don't advertise with us. Like,
but I do, and I have a car.
You could. Yeah, I mean, if it was something that you were knowledgeable about or could endorse, like, yeah, sure. But yeah, I'd always prefer us to endorse something that we actually use and can be honest about using and honest about, like, I bought this with my own money, or obviously we were...
Look at us. We get one sponsor, and now we're like, well, we're too highbrow to let other people sponsor this podcast.
No. Like, the things that we've been sponsored by before, like this, I mean, yeah, we were gifted the specific products that we were just talking about, but we had owned the previous versions, and the other sponsors that I can recall were essentially friends of challengers that we knew were good people, and we wanted to support their endeavors.
Like, I'll be honest, I would be more than happy to have sponsors just give us stuff as opposed to money. Like, if Chipotle wanted to give...
I have a list as long as my arm of people that I would gladly just take store credit or free merchandise from. Sure.
Well, I've always wanted somebody to reach out to places and be like, hey, Art of Chicken, we eat here regularly. Give us a couple of free meals a month and just give us one, like, I don't know, give us $25 a month and we'll talk about your product.
So, one full meal or 2 half meals is what you're
right. Also, Art of Chicken, I just said because I was talking to them with Donovan today.
Sure. And they're up the street.
But I think, like...
I like Art of Chicken.
Yeah, I think I would put... This is way off topic. I think I would put Fry the Coop over Art of Chicken.
Wow, I would not.
Just because because I wish Art of Chicken did a breaded chicken.
I understand. I really like the whole meal from Art of Chicken. I liked Fry the Coop, but Art of Chicken is down the street, man, and they are... Yeah, I was actually going to push for Art of Chicken this week. I really want Art of Chicken.
Well, let me just pump the brakes on that one. We just did Chicken Down. Let's take a break.
I know. But yeah, any number of businesses. If you're a business out there and we've ever mentioned you and you listen to this podcast, get in contact.
Speaking of contact, I think now is a good time to jump into the next next version. What would you call it? Thank you. The next installment of the segment that Stella Challenger insists we call Checking In with a Challenger. I'm not turning the heat off. It's going to stay on whilst we check in with Donovan.
Oh.
Hey, Donovan. Sorry to bother you while you're eating your heavily olive-infested pizza. But
my olive-accented, wonderful meat sauce cheese delivery vehicle?
I mean, I think we said the same thing, just different ways. Except when I say it, I mean it's super gross, and I would never soil my lips with olives, but that's just me.
That's just you.
I think it's a lot of people. I think you're the minority here as far as olive lovers go. And if anyone listening loves olives, keep it to yourself.
Please share with the class.
Do not. So, Donovan, this is your second time back in March after having worked for us well over a decade, and then having to move on because you had a real job.
I had a real job.
That took up all your Fridays, because you were Fridays from the start.
That's true.
From your start. But now, things have shifted, and you're filling back in again, like no time is lost.
Yeah, you've been through more POS systems than you have employees.
Because we can rely on the people.
Yeah.
Most of the people. Not all of the people. But normally, Donovan, this is the point where I would ask you to talk about something you're reading, but as I understand it, since the pandemic started, you stopped reading comics.
I stopped reading entirely.
Oh, okay.
If you remember, when you first hired me, it was because I read large block-shaped items called books.
Those are comics. They just don't have pictures in them. That's
right.
all. Yeah.
And no, I have not had the brain capacity to process words.
Yeah, you're still buying comics, so yay?
I support what I love.
There you go.
Doesn't mean I don't love it, even if I'm not currently participating in it.
Fair. So, do you miss it?
I do miss it. I also saw that there's an issue of Black Sad coming out.
Yeah, brand new Black Sad collection.
And I do believe that could be something that I might
Pulls you back in?
actually read.
Just what do you think you get out, Donovan?
Yeah.
Black Sad pulls you right back in.
Nothing like anthropomorphic noir
Yeah.
to really scratch the itch.
I mean, personally, noir in any shape or size is fine with me. If there's a giant Rottweiler or whatever type of breed he is, fine.
He's a panther.
Oh, whatever. I mean, there's other dogs in that book.
It's primarily cat focused, which is why I do like it so much.
Oh, God, now I hate it. I don't think I ever noticed that. I haven't read Black Sad in a very long time.
Yeah, he's a cool panther, bro.
Huh, okay. It's like reading a Jason book and trying to figure out, what are these animals? They're not animals, they're people. No, they're animals that, whatever. They're anthropomorphic, they can be anything. Yeah, that's fine. You know, it is entirely possible that for the length of time I've read Black Sad, I didn't realize he was a panther. Or I forgot. I forget a lot of things.
Maybe he's not a panther. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I would trust you over me in this, dare I say, most situations. Except when it comes to pizza toppings.
Pizza toppings.
Yeah.
That's good
And that's just like, I wouldn't trust you. Like, I know you would get them correctly. You just wouldn't get what I wanted. That's all. Like, yeah, that's a different kind of trust. So Black Sad may do it, huh? You were pretty immersed in the Hellboy universe, right? Didn't you do a lot of Mignola-verse stuff?
I do, and in fact, I think the pull list that I have is pretty much basically only Dark Horse, and like five of the 7 books that come to my box are Hellboy adjacent.
Well, I remember way back in the day, we hired you because you were a Friday regular. And I remember you were one of the only people buying Perhapnauts at the time.
No, I loved Perhapnauts.
It still kind of exists. I don't know if they were Kickstarters or whatnot, and I think it's jumped a whole bunch of publishers, but Craig Russo and oh God, I just forgot
Don't
his
ask
name.
me.
I just forgot. It wasn't Paul Tobin. It was anyway. So yeah, I remember specifically like that niche indie type of stuff is what you were doing.
Well, I was brought in initially by something very not indie at all. I was following the Buffy saga. Like, that's what brought me back into comics. I read comics when I was young only because I happened across the English editions of Lone Wolf and Cub.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I read those as a 3rd grader.
I mean, this really ties into your Dark Horse
yeah,
theme,
right? But no, I was reading the Buffy books because the show was ended, and what was I going to do with all of my knowledge?
25 years ago last week.
Yeah.
25 years ago last week was the start of Buffy, and now it's really hard to celebrate all the successes and achievements and joys of that show because of who's
all
tied
of
to
the baggage.
Yeah, we literally just
Not
had somebody.
just the mythological baggage,
Yeah.
the real baggage.
We literally just had somebody in the store looking for a different problematic creator's book, and they said, "Are they ever going to reprint that?" I just shrugged my shoulders, like, "Eh." The answer is, I think it's in print. We'll just never carry it again
yeah.
because of problematic creator.
You know, there's a lot of things that I loved dearly, and it's a thing that you can I can make the decision that, yay, I like your work, you did good work, I don't have to participate in it any longer.
Sure. Speaking of,
J.K. Rowling.
there is a new oral history of Buffy out called Once More with Feeling, where they do like interviews with everybody and piece them together by subject.
Oh.
And I like those, and obviously when I say oral, I mean
Spoken.
I like those kinds of books. Like all the Marvels that's out now is basically like that. The John Moxley biography, Mox, is kind of like that. His chapters are very, very short.
That's what I really liked about World War Z.
Yeah.
The book was that it was an oral telling of an aftermath of a zombie attack. Nothing like the film, which was dumb.
Who World War Z was?
Max Brooks.
Max Brooks. Okay, because there's Max Brooks, Max Landis, which, bad person, and Max Bemis. And Max Bemis has more comic work coming out, and I got confused by which
As
Max
far as
Bemis
I know,
was.
Max Brooks is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying of the Maxes
Even his
who
dad's still okay.
came from a different genre, a different medium to comics.
Media.
Max Bemis, musician. Max Brooks, writer. Max Landis, filmmaker. So, yeah. Anyway.
So even though I'm not reading comics, we still have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. So the Buffy book, yes.
Yeah.
I kind of want it. I kind of don't want it because, you know.
Yeah. I suppose it depends on who it's talking to.
Most everybody except for, I think, Allison Hannigan and David Boreanaz, maybe? But they get everybody else. There's two people they didn't get.
Did they talk to Michelle?
Trachtenberg, sure. I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they don't talk about the things that
Right.
came out.
But I mean, it's one of those things where people, you can make that
hated
decision
Dawn. Yes, you're right.
based on if that person decided to participate in a project or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. I know Amber's in it.
Okay.
I don't know how deeply involved anybody is specifically, but I won't know until I see the book.
Right.
Do you care about any of the new Buffy comic reimagining stuff ever since it jumped to Boom?
Yo,
everything
they went
restarted?
to space, and I was just like, I cannot.
Well, that was
cannot
the
with
Dark
this.
Horse stuff. Now it's at Boom, and it started over. Buffy started today. So here's the thing: they have cell phones.
Okay, good. I'm glad they have cell phones.
Well, that was the thing in the TV show. They slowly introduced
Okay.
that technology.
All right, we're talking about cell phones. Did
Yeah.
you watch Turning Red?
No,
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
Turning Red is the newest Pixar film.
Okay. Oh, the Red Panda.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's a cute
I don't
film.
see a lot of Pixar movies.
It's a cute film. But
I'm an
it's set in
adult,
2002.
Okay.
I am also an adult. And I think it's set in 2002 because I get the sense that it is someone's like remembrance of like a childhood kind of thing.
Okay.
But it's so weird to have like they speak in a way that seems very current, but everybody has like a flip phone. It's very strange.
Flip phones didn't
It's
exist back in
a-
2002, did they? I don't think so.
I don't know. There was, and they had like Tamagotchis.
No, I think
and-
they did. I was thinking. I keep forgetting that cell phones came out in the early 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't. That was the only disconnect for me with the film. I was just like, no, what time is it?
Did you ever see It Follows?
Yes.
They went out of their way to confuse you with technology because all the cars were old, but they all had like weird Star Trek communicator type phones. Like they didn't want to pin down when that movie took place, and they did a good job because I was constantly looking for
Markers?
timeline markers. Yeah, and it was all over the place.
Yeah. I was so engrossed in that film that I didn't ever stop to think about it. I think I considered it part of the entire aesthetic of the film, which apparently was their
goal. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that it's
It all just reminded me of a 70s basement. Like a 70s romper room, kind of like wood paneling.
Yeah, shag, carpet,
really
wood paneling.
terrible
Yeah.
patterned sheets. Yeah.
That's why I think I like noir so much, because mysteries that don't rely on technology are way more fun.
Oh, yeah.
And all these current heist books and movies and things, they're also technically driven that it's impossible, because I don't understand all those things. I don't know how you can do the type of science involved to be able to make those heists work. And also you can't. not everybody can't walk around with earbuds in, hearing everybody else.
Not everybody is cybernetically enhanced.
Exactly.
Or
exactly.
During the time of the indoors, rewatched all of the Jason Bourne films. Started rewatching all of the Mission Impossible films.
Okay.
Those are real bad. They're not good until you get to the one that Brad Bird, again Pixar, directed. And I was like,
again,
this
problematic people.
This was enjoyable.
Dal loves the Mission Impossible films.
Oh, the first
Loves
ones
them.
are so bad.
Can you believe that Doug Ray Scott gave up the chance to be Wolverine so he could be in Mission Impossible as the bad guy? He was cast for Wolverine. He's like, no, I got to do this one instead.
Didn't it?
And then he
I
wound
heard
up being
some
the
sort of-
dad on Batgirl now, or Batwoman.
Heard some sort of wild thing about somebody being Wolverine. Somebody wants to be
Oh,
Wolverine.
Pablo Schreiber.
No.
I mean, currently he's apparently in talks. He is A, Liev Schreiber's brother, who played
Funny.
Sabretooth.
That's funny.
B, I got to know him as the Leprechaun from American Gods, the TV series.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Cluracan.
Yeah.
The only leprechaun I subscribe to is, of course, the Warwick Davis one.
Not even Lucky from the serial?
No.
Wow. It's a fair cop though, because ever since they changed all of the General Mills from they weren't just wheat, they were like a mixture. Then they became just
A whole grain something.
Now they're terrible. But Chocolate Lucky Charms used to be so good, and of course the monster cereals live forever in my hearts. But getting back to Boom and Buffy, so they've done Buffy. They're finishing up the last Slayer, which is Buffy at 50 years old.
Okay.
And now they're coming out with a brand new series called, ready for this?
Buffy Returns.
Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
Featuring
Buffy.
everybody from the previous cast. But now it's just
Whatever.
and I think we're still going to have to rack it under B because
It's
not going to sell.
I was
under
shelving
W
books. I
or
was
B.
shelving books.
W?
And I'm over there in the superheroes, and it's just like Batman this thing, Batman this thing, Batman this, and Bat, and this, and it's the same problem everywhere, and I hate shelving these books. It's ridiculous.
Batman is... There's a couple weeks recently where every single DC book out this week was either Batman or Batman Family. Like, we would count Nightwing as a Batman book.
Oh, my favorite one, still to this day, though, there was an Anita Blake comic book series.
Yeah.
And for a while, it had, like, Wolverine showed up on the cover, and there was a little text that just, like, Wolverine not appearing in this book. It's just like, what? Why? That's terrible. Anyway.
So, Donovan, while you're not here, you are very active with your Patreon.
I am.
And the internet, so why don't you tell people where they can find you?
I have a Patreon where I do art all the time. It is primarily focused on making artist stamps, which is imagine a postage stamp, but make it art, and you can't mail a letter with it, but you could use it to decorate.
You can, you just need actual postage as well.
Yeah, you should put actual postage on it. The post office might still mail it. You might not get in trouble.
We're not advocating doing this, though.
Or they might come to your house and say, stop doing that right now.
What is it called?
It is called Selvage. Patreon.com/SELVAGE.
And selvage is?
Selvage is the strips of paper around the edges of postage stamps. It's called
the
selvage.
tearaway part.
Yeah. The
part
outside edge of stamps.
There you go.
It's also a fabric term. You see it often used with like jeans, like selvage
I didn't
jeans
know that
has
for fabric.
Yeah. It refers to the edges of fabric.
Okay. And your Instagram is?
Dovebee, DOVBEE.
Otherwise, you can be found at Random Fridays right here in Challengers.
Only the cursed Fridays.
No, last week was cursed, and it was a Gina Friday, so
Okay.
it's just extra cursed this week. The Gina curse only lasted, let me rephrase that. The curse that happened whilst Gina was here wasn't nearly as long as this one, because this one is 4 hours and counting. But it's a Friday, and we're very close to 3 o'clock. And what happens at 3 o'clock on Fridays?
Is it happy hour?
It is definitely happy hour in
Woo!
5 minutes, so we're leaving to do that. Thanks, Donovan.
Thanks, Pat.
I tried to catch up on a bunch of PDFs previews this week,
Yeah.
but I did that fatal flaw where I didn't write them down,
Oh, no.
and now I forgot what they were.
Uh-oh.
And I did read Amazing Spider-Man #1, thanks to you pointing out that it was up.
Yeah, most of it anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that they deliberately don't show us, because let's be fair, they still can't trust retailers.
No, the internet as a whole, like, if something big happens at the end of Amazing Spider-Man #1, and Marvel themselves don't ruin it by giving it to a website or a newspaper, the internet would 100% see it in a PDF, and it would be plastered all over Bleeding Cool or speculator sites or whatever. Everyone would know about it. It would ruin it. And let's not do that.
Amazing Spider-Man #1 is good.
It is. It's a good classic Spider-Man comic if you're reading the Beyond stuff and you're kind of looking for... I've heard from a few people that the things they like best about the Beyond comic were like when Peter Parker's in it a whole lot.
Right. Well, that's why people like Spider-Man, because he's Peter Parker.
Generally, yeah. Not always, but generally. This is a Peter Parker comic. It is a straight ahead...
It's a very Peter Parker comic.
Yeah, it's there's some mystery to it, but they are kind of resetting Peter Parker to a more general, his life is falling apart status quo.
But I also went through DC and read a bunch of previews, and I can't remember them. And I didn't even dislike them. I just can't remember them.
It's not great.
And I did other email. Like I did a
only
lot of
thing I had on my
PDF
list,
reading.
Yeah, the only thing I had on my list this week for PDFs that I did not get around to yet is the Bone Orchard Mythos : The Passageway hardcover.
So I got really mad at like a month or so ago.
Really don't like that name.
Because we got the PDF for that. I'm like, I'm going to dig into that.
Yep.
And it was like 5 pages.
Yep.
Yeah.
The exact same thing that was in like previews now. Thanks. But then we did get an email from Image this week that said, no, this is the whole thing. And I looked at the page count. It's like 97 pages. But I just have not had a chance to sit down with it.
Same, like we got the full Agents of Slam, the new Dave Scheidt, Scoot McMahon wrestling comic.
Yep.
As endorsed by Rebecca Quinn. And I haven't got a chance to read that.
Nice.
We also have the last issue of Kaiju Max.
Yeah, I have that. And
I haven't, same.
Not yet.
I mean to.
Yep, soon.
Just haven't. But I literally sat down and read a bunch of previews, and now none of them are sticking in my head.
That's not good.
And that's a terrible sign.
I don't think it's a terrible sign for you and your neurology. I think it's a terrible sign for the industry. Like, your inability to remember what you just read is more an indictment of the books than it is of you.
I always get mad at AWA because I've been reading Knighted only in PDFs.
Uh-huh.
And the last several things they've sent out, every time you click it, it goes to number 4.
Oh.
And I've been waiting, and I just got it today, I believe. I didn't get a chance to look because internet was down.
Oh, no.
But I think I have Crimson Cage 5.
Yeah.
Okay. God, that book is so good.
It's real good.
I ordered a bunch of the trades.
That's great.
Wait, I didn't. They're in the new previews.
Oh, okay.
I circled it as in a thing I want to do.
Sure.
Yeah, you can definitely count on getting 1,000 emails the day that you really don't have great email access.
I'm sure.
I mean, I had access on my phone, but...
But that's not a great way to interact with store emails.
Yeah, I literally got a text from a fellow retailer today who's like, hey, do you have a few minutes to talk about something? And I had to text back, no, I have no internet. My phone is how we run charges. I cannot be on my phone.
Yeah, and the store phone's down, I think, because the store phone is
internet.
internet. So,
yeah. So, I mean, that was pretty glorious.
Yeah.
That is
That's what you wanted, a day of no phone calls.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want. I mean, that is a thing I've wanted my whole life. And it's come to pass, and I love it. It's, oh man, the perfect time of day. No phone calls. Also, whilst there was no Gina today, there was still drinking. And I have found what I think is the perfect mixture of... We've been getting margaritas normally on Fridays. Not getting, but drinking pre-made margaritas.
Okay.
And they're like 20 proof from the mix that we get.
Okay.
But the fancier ones that we don't get anymore because of the price were like 40 proof. And there's a difference in how it affects you, but a local grocery store has a little carousel of tiny bottles of booze for like $1.99 a piece.
That's great.
Or
I think. I don't know.
10 for $10.
Okay.
So if somebody bought, say, a handful of extra tequila,
sure,
then adds that into the margarita, perfect.
Great.
Perfect consistency. So the end of the day...
People are getting a lot of tips today.
The end of the day was a little bit better than the start of the day.
Okay, well, that's great.
But, I mean, seriously, AT&T is supposed to call me back when the outage is fixed, and it is now 8 hours after this started, and there has been no previous contact. Thank you, Siri. That's lovely.
How great would it be if this time they ended up calling the store instead of calling you?
Yeah, right? They can't, though.
Well, when they fix it, then they can call
one of my favorite parts of the whole encounter was I gave them my phone number to call when the outage... when I called to talk to a person and I couldn't get a person, I had to leave my number so they could call back and so there'd be a person.
Sure.
So I did that. I gave them my number, and while I'm still on that call waiting clicks through. It's AT&T telling me it's my turn to talk, so I switch over to that, and they put me on hold until someone comes to get it. So it didn't even... It's like...
Unbelievable.
Immediately, and then you're waiting again.
Unbelievable.
Boy, I sure wish I remember what those PDFs were.
I'm sorry.
You heard about the Marvel walkout this week?
I think so. I think I'd heard in general that a lot of Disney-affiliated companies were doing that.
Yeah, but like Marvel editors and people walked out as well.
Great.
Like Will Moss.
Okay.
Also, one of our subscribers did as well.
Great.
Just trying to...
I appreciate them doing that.
Just trying to pick news topics of the week. Did you hear that the Monstrous team...
Yes.
Yeah, now has a 3-book...
graphic novel series coming out from Abrams Comic Arts.
The Night Eaters.
Yeah.
She Who Eats the Night.
Looks real strong. I mean, definitely looks like it'll appeal to the people who are enjoying Monstrous.
Yeah.
And certainly going graphic novel only is an indication of where they think the readership is at, and I do not disagree.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing that we'll probably have to order, or should order, directly through Hachette, because our Abrams discount's way better through them.
Yeah, we learned that the hard way this week.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking of that Taschen book. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
Is it better for us to order that Alex Ross Fantastic Four book through Hachette?
I think we already did.
Okay.
I'll have to double check.
It comes out in August.
Yeah, I'll have to double check if we did already. But yeah, stuff like that, it would be better if we did it through there. The problem is one of the slight problems with Managed Comics is I don't know how we do that reporting correctly to make sure we don't double order it.
Yeah.
Beyond just making a note and remembering, do not order this from Diamond.
Well, it's also not a thing that you can do easily on Shopify or not on Shopify, but on websites is like Penguin Random House. Like, did I order this before?
You can.
It's not easy, though.
It's not. I mean, Penguin Random House has said that they're working on functionality that will more easily tell you what you've ordered for previous issues in a series, for example.
Yeah, that is the story of Challengers right now. Everybody is working on functionality.
Everyone's iterating, Patrick. Everybody.
Man, it's... You know what? We've been saying this for a long time. I cannot wait until all these things...
Everyone's got a roadmap.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a roadmap.
And I believe in these roadmaps, but man, just being on that road...
The distance is significantly...
Longer than expected.
Longer than anyone indicated it would be. And obviously, like any map, sometimes there's detours and there's wrong turns and bumps in the road, you might even say.
Sure,
that companies aren't anticipating. But yeah, looking forward to some distant point in the future.
When we can look back and think, it's all worth it.
For sure. For sure.
It's just a frustrating time, especially when there's no internet.
That's true.
I wish there were more positive things to say.
Yeah.
We're going to turn off this recording, and 4 books that I just read are going to pop into my head. I'm going to be like, I loved all 4 of those. Boy, I wish I could talk about those.
Write them on the board next time.
Yeah, well, I got the number. That's
you
right.
Did? Yeah.
I didn't say it, though. It's 578.
Oh, there it is.
That's what number it is.
There it is.
So just keep in mind, if you want to go to manscaped.com and use the discount code CHALLENGERS with an S, you will get 20% off, which is amazing. And you'll feel so smooth doing it, or I guess after you've done it at a certain point. This is normally the point where I'd say, Dad, you got anything? But I know you don't. So thanks for listening.
And keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.